Welcome back. We are seeing how to design a printed circuit board. In this session, we will see how to design the schematic diagram for PCB. Let us design a single layer PCB to start with. Okay, so let us say we want to design a power circuit. So you know a power circuit, right? So I want to design a power PCB and then convert that into a printed circuit. So what is this power circuit should do? This power circuit, on one side I will connect this to a transformer. On the other side, I should take power for different voltages. Let us say I need 12 volt output. I also need 5 volt output. If necessary, I can also use 3.3 volt output. But let us limit ourselves to 5 volt and 12 volt. Let us not worry too much about 3.3. So this power board or power PCB should have one connector to connect with the transformer. So once you start designing a PCB, you should have some mind map of how your PCB should look like. So you take your pencil and then you draw your PCB roughly, and then you have some mental image of how your PCB should look like. So it is not a good idea to put your transformer on the PCB. There is no necessity for it. So I'll have a connector here. So this connector on one end of the connector, so transformer I normally put outside the board. So the secondary of the transformer I connect to the board. So I'm not going to put the transformer in the board. So I should have a connector in the board. This connector I use for connecting the secondary of the transformer. So in the starting from the secondary, I should have a bridge rectifier, and then I should have a filter. Then I should have voltage regulators. First I want a 12 volt regulator. Then I want to have a 5 volt regulator. Then the board should have connectors for taking 5 volt and 12 volt. Let us say I need 3 12 volt connectors. Each one is plus 12 volt and ground, plus 12 volt and ground, plus 12 volt and ground. And similarly 3 5 volt connectors so that I can make use of for powering them to external circuitry. So this is plus 5 volt ground, plus 5 volt ground, plus 5 volt. So this is how my board should look like. Okay, so the board should have 3 12 volt connectors and 3 5 volt connectors and one connector for connecting to the transformer. So that's how my board should look like. And we have to now slowly extend this concept for designing a PCB. So the very first stage in designing a PCB is designing the schematic for that. So let us start with the designing the schematic. Draw the schematic first, step 1. So let us take a small pencil and then start scribbling this schematic diagram before we actually go to the software and then start doing that practice. So I take a pencil and then start designing my schematic. So let me start with a simple 2-wire terminal block. The symbol for this connector is called terminal block. It has 2 pins. So this is where I connect my transformer secondary. Followed by that, I should have a bridge rectifier. You should know how a bridge rectifier works. A bridge rectifier essentially consists of 4 diodes. You put a small rectangle and connect the bridge rectifier in a rectangular format. Right. So the secondary of the transformer goes in the center of the rectangle. So this is my ground. This is my output of the bridge rectifier. So this is my D1, D2, D3, and D4. So you know how this bridge rectifier works. At any given point in time, cross-connected rectifiers would work. And the job of this rectifier is to convert a full sine wave into a one-directional DC out. So followed by that, you have a shunt capacitor filter, typically a 1000 microfarad shunt capacitor filter. Followed by that, you have a voltage regulator. So first you have a 12 volt regulator. So this is 7812, and the voltage regulator has 3 terminals: input, output, and ground. The middle terminal is the ground terminal, which I connected to ground. Followed by 7812, you have 7805. 7805 is the 5 volt regulator. The job of this regulator is to give you constant 12 volt in the output. The job of this regulator is to give you constant 5 volt in the output. Again, this pin has 3 terminals: input, ground, and output. Okay, so this is where I get 5 volt. So I should have 3 terminal blocks here. 1, again another terminal block here. 2, again another terminal block. 3. So this is connected to ground, and I want the 12 volt line to be connected in all these 3 points so that I get 12 volt Similarly, I should have 3 terminal blocks in the bottom layer. 1, 2, 3. Again, these terminal blocks, each terminal block means a 2-pin connector. So one of these 2-pin terminal should go to ground. The other one should have 5-volt output. So this is 5-volt, 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 5-volt. So you take the 5-volt line and connect to all these 3 lines, so that I end up in getting 5 volts here. And it is always better you use couple of stabilizing capacitors, ceramic capacitors. So 100 nanofarad ceramic capacitor for stabilizing the voltage regulators. And it is always better you put a power LED in the board, so that you know whether the power is available or not. So you connect a light emitting diode, current limited by a resistor, say 100 ohm resistor. So this is a light emitting diode connected in the output of 5-volt line, just to know that there is a power available to the board. So this is what we mean by schematic. Schematic means a circuit diagram. So this is something that you should be already aware of. There is nothing technically involved here. So in the to know the operation, you have a 12-volt AC available here. In the output of the bridge rectifier, this AC is converted into a unidirectional DC. This is what is available at this point. After the output of your filter, this full wave rectified output is converted into a near DC output with minimal amount of ripples. This is what is the job of this filter capacitor, is to eliminate this AC ripples and to give you a near DC output. The output that is available here is almost a perfect straight line with the 12-volt DC. The output that is available at the output of this 5-volt is a near perfect line with 5-volt. So this is the output of this circuit at various stages, which you must be already aware of. So let us go to the Proteus software. So there is Proteus 8 professional installed. I just run this as an administrator. So I go to File as usual, click New Project. I always tell you, whenever you are designing any project, be it is software or PCB or programming, you create a separate folder for that, so that it is always better. So I go to, for clarity, I'm just saving in the desktop. For your understanding, you can create any folder. So I am just giving a folder called PCB. Select that folder, and you have to give a project name here. So I am just giving the name of the project as Power PCB, and click Next. So there are different types. New project, from development board, blank project. I am just creating a new project. Click Next. The second question that the software asks is whether you want to create a schematic or not. So the default option is, it is asking you to create a schematic, because whether you are designing a PCB or whether you are simulating something, you need a schematic. So it is by default it is shown that you need a schematic, and what is the template you want. So I am going with the default template. Click Next. Third one is, it is asking whether you want a PCB or not. Default is, it is not showing you a PCB. I am going to click Create a PCB, and once I click Create a PCB, it is asking for what is the type of the layout I want. I'm just going with the default layout. Click Next. And it is asking for what is the thickness of various layers. At this point in time, it is not important for all those stuff. I will discuss those things later once you have preliminary understanding of PCB designing. So let us click Next. And it is also telling you your PCB drilling details. Again, I am going next. Let us discuss all those things later on. And let us whether it is asking whether you wanted to have a firmware or not. I'm not going to write any firmware, so it is a no firmware project. Click Next. So out of the 3, schematic, layout, PCB, and firmware, we are designing only schematic and PCB layout. Firmware we are not doing. So let us finish it. So if you finish it, you have 2 windows here. One gray colored window, and the other one is the black colored window. So you can just toggle between the 2 on the top left area. You can just see the top area where I can toggle the 2. One is called a schematic, the other one is PCB layout. So whenever you are designing a PCB layout, schematic is the first one I should do. So I'll start with my schematic layer. So this is where we have to put all our circuit symbols and give connections via wires. So let us go to the top left side. The top left side, you have an arrow here. So on the top left, you are having an arrow. Followed by that, you have an op-amp symbol. So that is the component mode. So that is where we put all our circuit symbols. So you click that. So once you click that, it will go to component mode. And then you have a small icon called P. P stands for parts. So you click that parts here. So once you click that part, you need to put all our components one by one. Okay, so let me start with our terminal block. So let me go to the PCB. The first one is my terminal block. Terminal block is a simple connector. So terminal block. So it's simply type terminal block. So it is giving me a variety of terminal blocks. I want a terminal block with two pins. So this is a 2-pin terminal block. The moment I choose a terminal block, on the right hand side you have two things. The one on the top is the symbol for that component. The one that on the bottom is the PCB footprint for that component. So this symbol we use for schematic. This footprint we use for drawing PCB. Every symbol that you choose should have a corresponding footprint. Only then we can make use of that component for designing PCB. So that understanding you should have. So once I change the different components, you can see that the symbols and the footprints are changing depending upon the physical dimensions of the component. Okay, so this is a 4-pin, 5-pin terminal block, 8-pin terminal block, 12-pin block, and this is a 2-pin block. So this 2-pin block is a simple connector which we use for connecting our secondary of the transformer to the PCB board. So I choose this fellow and then I put it in the circuit. So I want to rotate this because I want this to go to the right side. So again, you can just click that and then click rotate clockwise like this, and then 2 times, and then you can make that fellow to turn to the right. So this is one way of rotating this block. Okay, so that's what I am doing here. So that is the first component. So what is the second component? We need 4 diodes. So go to parts. What is the component name of the diode? 1N4007. So that is the diode that I want. That's the silicon diode. See, this is the symbol for the diode. This is the footprint of the diode. Are you able to understand the difference between symbol and a footprint? Symbol we make use of for schematic. Footprint we make use of for PCB. Footprints would exactly look like the way it is in the physical component. So click OK. So I am going to have 4 diodes. Diode 1, diode 2, diode 3, and diode 4. Okay, 4 diodes. Followed by that I have a 1000 microfarad capacitor. Again go to parts. Click electrolytic capacitor. ELECTROLYTIC. Electrolytic capacitor. So this is my electrolytic capacitor which has positive and negative polarity. This is the circuit symbol for that. So take that. So positive should go to the positive side and the negative should go to the ground. So that is one thing. Followed by that I want 7812 and 7805 regulator. Go to parts, give 7812. So this is my symbols for 7812. This is the PCB layout or the footprint. So this is my 7812. Again go to parts, take 7805 voltage regulator. So this is my 7805 regulator. Okay, right. And then you need a couple of ceramic capacitors for stabilizing your. You can see the shape of this footprint for capacitors. Traditional non-electrolytic capacitors. It is a small disc-shaped capacitor. So we put one capacitor here and the other capacitor here. And then you need a small light-emitting diode. So I'm not having the. I'm having a generic LED symbol, but unfortunately there is no footprint for that particular LED. So if you don't have a footprint for this fellow, it will be very difficult for you to design the PCB for it. Let me see whether you have a. So you don't have the footprint for that. Though it doesn't matter. We can always make use of a footprint that is already existing. So this footprint would go well for my light emitting diode. So I'm just selecting that. Okay. So if you don't have a PCB footprint, you need to search for an appropriate footprint and assign that. We will now start wiring these components in order to form a complete schematic. First, we will complete the bridge rectifier part. Once you complete the bridge rectifier part, you apply the input for this bridge rectifier. from the transformer. And then I take a ground terminal and I apply one end of the ground terminal to the bridge. The output of this is connected to the regulator through the filter circuit, and then I place the ground here to the shunt capacitor filter. So we'll also be having another ground for the regulator here and another ground for this regulator. We also have grounds for this capacitors as well. So the output of 7812 goes as input to 7805, and this capacitor goes here, and the output of 7805 goes to the power LED via a resistor, and this is connected to ground, and the final capacitor goes here. So this is my schematic diagram for the power circuit. We need to tap the power terminals for supplying power for external components from the main power board. So the final thing that is we need to take the output for this power circuit. So we have 3 terminals for taking 12 volt and 3 terminals for 5 volt. So that is what I'm trying to connect here. So again, go to the parts. So we have the terminal block. Rotate the terminal block so that it is pointing inward. So I have 3 terminal blocks for taking 12 volt. 1, 2, 3, and 3 more for taking 5 volt. So don't ask me why am I putting all the terminal blocks on the top side in the schematic. In the schematic diagram, you can put wherever you want. Only in the PCB, the position matters. Whether you want them in the top position or on the bottom position, you precisely put them in the place that you want. So in all the terminals, pin number 2 is my ground line. So I go to the terminal mode here and select the ground. So I position the ground in all the points and then complete the circuit. So these 3, we need 12 volt. So at the output of 7812, we have the 12 volt line. So this is 0.1, this is 0.2, and this is 0.3. So this 12 volt line will supply 3 connectors. So why I need 3? Because I can power up to 3 devices. Maybe I can give one for relay, I can give one for motor, and I can give another 12 volt motor for some other peripheral device. This 5 volt terminal, similarly, I need 3 of them. We can give more than 3 also, but in this case, I'm just limiting myself. So that gives you the power of connecting any external peripheral devices. So I take 5 volt output and give 3 5 volt output, and for 12 volt, we have 3 12 volt output. So I connect the secondary of the transformer and I take 12 volt output here, 3 of them, and 5 volt output, 3 of them. So that is how my final output should look like, and this is my schematic diagram. So this is what it is. So this is the first stage in the PCB diagram. So when you want to design a PCB, it is mandatory that you should design the schematic, error-proof schematic with a neat and clean wiring diagram. So that's what it is. So for if you go to the PCB layout, you can see that for each and every component that we positioned in the schematic capture, for each and every symbol that we have positioned, automatically PCB layout will have a component here. Are you able to understand? So it is a matter of taking those components here and then routing them and giving the connections electrically in the copper layer so that we design the tracks to complete the PCB part.